So the natural thing was because we wanted to make an album again, and we decided what we're going to do to live the life, revisit that, and we're going to self-sample ourselves. Was remember there was a film that we, done some development on that we wanted to do, and previous as a few years, I was gonna, like with yourself, AJ, I was going to do another version of it, bring this character as a Nzuli character back, but portray the whole music changes moods again in a different way. But that was going to be more of an action because in our comics, in the Hip Hop Connection, we talked about us wanting to do a comic and a graphic novel. It was all about creating a new world called Interreality, where whatever's physical is psychological and whatever's psychological is physical. It's this new visual world. And in that world, people who create music or who influence people through their voice, through entertainment, through anybody that can influence somebody in another way more than others, they're almost like seen in this world as, the superheroes, the wizards, all those people with mystical powers. Yeah. So because we don't pay enough attention in life, in my opinion, into the eternal side of stuff. Internally, we hold all that stuff back, and we pay attention only to what we see. Like the only thing that's believable is what we see in here. Like the stuff that goes on internally, and your emotional intelligence and all that stuff, we don't pay enough attention to it, and that's the strongest thing. That's why people say, when you believe in something, when you've got will to do something, you can achieve amazing things that you didn't think was possible. So I wanted people, or a way of portraying that on film or game or music, where people take more notice of it, or that if they don't take notice of it, at least it becomes a discussion where people talk about it a bit more. So with that in tow, that was a little bit complicated, that story, where it was going to be Interreality, was going to be these like ninjas fighting each other, internal battles or battles against other people psychologically in terms of an argument. Kind of similar to what Edgar Wright's done with Scott Pilgrim. He did that again. He did it in Spaced as well, I think, with Tekken. And do you remember he did it in an episode with Space with Tekken? But end of the day, that was I wanted to turn it into a more simpler structure where it actually work as a film. So we brought Nzuli back, but rather than the original classroom idea where it'd been Nzuli talking to a bunch of artists who are arrested or do whatever, to bring it into a more one-on-one situation where it was the yin and the yang characters, and then bring these other people, the Zen 10, there's these 10 people that get brought together, and the stories about them and how they came together, how they disappeared. How'd you say that?
Well, I'm not all that. So, you got to be realistic. You're not just going to...
Yeah, but you have a choice. It's not like you're going to go and then you're going to be, you're going to say, okay, I'm the lead actor in a Hollywood blockbuster, but if you were involved in it, would you rather be involved in it?
Yeah.
Or would you rather have a bit... It's like the pie that we always talk about, isn't it? Would you want to have... would you want to be a big fish in a small pond, or a small fish in a big pond? Yeah.
Whatever allowed me to sort of take it the most seriously. Everyone in life likes to be taken seriously. And I really enjoyed the sort of dynamics between us, where I get to question you about the character, and that allowed me to sort of get into it a bit more. And obviously it was quite a big part, so I kind of had to take it seriously. And the experience has definitely given me a taste to want to do it more like that. So whatever gave me that opportunity to have, I guess kind of... be taken seriously. You know that whatever effort you put in is kind of going to be seen or heard.
And you say about time, it wasn't necessarily that I had time, it was that I made time, because that's another thing about the will thing. If you have the will to do something, I found time I didn't think it was possible to make time. I'd waste hours, I'd waste days doing this, doing that. But when you've got this relentless drive to finish something, you find time in all the weird places. Like I think you'll hear Troy talking about us going to write together to do the film, but most of the writing together didn't end up happening, because after I had the idea and I told him about the initial places idea and said, we'll get involved and write it. I knew it would take a while. So by the time I had a holiday away with the in-laws and Rach up in Wales, I wrote half of it then. So because I knew where it was going. I put the basic stems of where the story was going, and then I just went bam, flapped, just did that, and then the rest of it was done on the way to work, because I was taking a coach to work at the time, and coach journey was long, so I'd go there and either listen to self-help videos that motivate, or listen to music which motivated, to have my iPad out and writing a script on a scripts app and then just finishing it, then making tweaks. I'd structure one part on the way up there. I'd have a look at it in work, not much. Then on the way home, I'd tweak it again, and then I'll finish it when I get home.
Did you write with the intention to direct? I mean, when you initially wrote it,
no,
were you looking for someone to
no.
direct it?
It was initially there was two people I had in mind to direct, yourself and Mark, Mark Lewis. They were the two people I wanted, because Mark knew it from its inception. I'd worked with versions of To Live the Life with Yourself, and I just thought, I don't know fucking first thing about that stuff. I know how to do stuff, I know how to finish stuff, but I don't know technically how to get stuff done, and there could be obvious things that I don't know about which I could miss if I didn't have the right people around me. So going to that process, it wasn't in terms of the time it took to make it and how much was involved in making a feature-length film. It's too much time to ask from yourself to do. It was way too much time for Mark. He had a newborn, and to be honest, I'm not sure if he was that much invested into doing the idea anymore. I'm not sure if that's where his path was leading. So the only option was myself.